Good morning to all traders and welcome to another Markets and Waves video. Today is September 8th. It is Wednesday, middle of the week, and we are seeing interesting moves across the markets with mainly the DXY rising. But I do have a feeling, and my analysis also shows that this is simply a correction. So don't really get caught off guard. We're going to look at the DXY, Euro dollar, dollar yen, oil, and gold, the usual five. Now, starting of course with the DXY, and some of you spotted my mistake here. Well done to you, because I didn't really use the Fibo here to measure wave 3. I had it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Obviously, the third wave is the small one. It's not obvious, so I shouldn't say obviously, but visually it looks like it's okay. But structurally speaking, if you measure it, there is no wave 3 here because it's shorter than the other waves too. So I've got the 1, the 2, yeah. It looks like 3 is all the way down here. Now we're going for 4 and we're going to get 5. I'll be honest, I don't really like that as a 3 as well, because the truth is that looks like more of a 1, 2, and 3 over here, if that makes sense, right? Like an ABC even. So I'm still cautious about this structure. But let me just finish about this and then I will tell you about the alternative. Yeah, that looks like an ABC, and to me it looks like that might be actually coming to an end fairly soon. We're looking at the 30.2, or if you want to measure wave 3, we're looking at 50. It's already done, okay? Or we can go up to the 61.8. What of course we don't want to see is the cross above the 92.80, right? But even if we did, that is not really going to change the medium outlook. It would just probably become some sort of diagonal. And this is the alternative I want to talk to you about, which maybe actually at the moment, as I look at it, it might even be the main, because we look at here for a potential 5-way move here as well, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for 1, okay? And that can be either 1 and 2, and we're going to get some sort of diagonal. Obviously the 5th wave has to be shorter than 3, or it also might be, that would be diagonal, right? Or it also be a case where we're not done with 3 wave yet, okay? And that is the first, and that is the first, that is the second. We're going to get 3, 4, and 5, right? So you can understand these sort of move to the downside can be, it's very subjective. It's very subjective because the length of 3 does not make sense with the structure over here, right? You see that doesn't really fit into a 3, okay? That's what I'm saying. And then you might ask, well, what about that being a 3? 1, 2, 3, and then, but there is interactions over here, so we cannot really assume that unless if it is a diagonal. So for now, we can just leave it as is and see how this develops to the upside. So I will be looking at the 92.80 top anyway. In case we break higher, it means that most likely the 5-wave move ended here. A 5-wave move ended here, right? Which means, the only alternative I see is that to have our 3-wave here, the 4 and the 5, which again, as I said before, it doesn't really look right. It doesn't have the right look, and the right look is important. Either way, in medium term, we're going down. Okay, I'm looking for the 5th wave. Don't forget to break to fresh lows. Euro dollar corrects. It's correcting. We might go lower down. We still got any sort of, we do get some sort of hidden bullish divergence here, but I think there is more downside. I'll explain why. This looks like 1, 2, 3 so far, or ABC. So we might be able to get a W, X, and Y, which means we're going to get another low, or we might get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's going to be the A. We're going to get the B, and then we're going to get the C. So again, more downside. Only if this finished here as an ABC, we're going to move higher up. But as you can see over here, that looks corrective. So we're not done with the correction yet, in my opinion. Okay, don't also forget that waves 2 usually correct down to 61.8. So let's see how this pans out, but let's give it a bit of time, because I think we're still in a correction here. Even if we see upside, it's most likely going to be short term. So in case we do so, look for the 118.70 or so. That's a 50 Fibo from the top down to the swing low. Dollar yen, it looks like the triangular shape is breaking here. You remember we talked about this W, X, and Y, right? It looks like after this overthrow as well, because that's a nice overthrow, it's breaking. We're actually meeting resistance right now, but you know the chances of breaking higher are quite really good. Okay, currently we have broken actually above on the 1 hour, but you know we need to see how this pans out. And if we take into account this is 1 and 2, it's very likely that we might stay here for a bit longer. Okay, we might get like a triangle, a running triangle or something, and then continue higher. Then get wave 2 probably down here, and then shoot higher. As I said, we expect that to go, well, to at least the previous high, right? That's going to be the 111.67 at least. If that is indeed a wave 2, then we can expect that in the medium term to be a very good long-term, long opportunity. Prices of oil have moved as expected from the top in a 5-wave move. So this is indeed a flat, identified correctly. And now there is 2 options on the table, guys, okay, as I see it. One is that we finished because we had the 5 waves down. So that's 1 and 2, we're going to see 3, 4, and 5. We need to break above that, obviously. Or the other one would be that this is the first wave. We're going to get the second, the third, the fourth, and the 5th. And that's going to be an expanding flat variation. Because the truth is that we haven't really done a reasonable correction just yet. And if we include that, look at this, my 61 comes at the 61 of the longer term move, right? So we're looking at the 64.70 being perhaps a level here. And if we pull our FIBO extension to really, not validate, but really check if that's possible, look at this, my 100 FIBO comes at 64. Once we get the correction, the correction can get anywhere to the previous stop. So look at this. Then the 161 comes at 64.50. So that expanding flat also could actually could be the case here, right? But for now we're good to move higher up. Okay, despite the fact we don't really, we do see some sort of hidden divergence here, but what I want to do is just draw a channel over here. Oops, excuse me, I think I got the wrong tool. This is the base channel, guys. Okay, we need to get back within that, yeah, and obviously we need that trend line to break. Okay, so we want that. We want this, ideally this, and then something like that to continue higher. Otherwise, very likely to be an expanding flat. Okay. Don't forget that we're talking about alternative that might be an ABC as well. So that could be 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is going to have to wait for a bit, because for now it's impossible to say whether this is going to be the case. Gold, if you remember, we were looking at this. We're expecting a potential ending diagonal here, but we didn't like this move, and that was impulsive and all that. And guys, now it looks like that, well, we're down again. So that can only be an ending diagonal here. But I don't like the look, because my correction in wave 2 and my wave 4, even if you combine them together, they don't really get to the length of this in terms of time. So that lasted a lot. But then again, it cannot be a multi-structural move to the upside, because it would be very multi-structural, and it just doesn't make sense. Usually, maybe you can have one internally starting, but this is just a bit too much. If we look at this signal, though, well, how bullish is that? You might say, yes, this is bullish. But it looks like we're not even done with wave A first. We need A, B, and then C. We might get down to 1754 and then continue higher up. So similar case with the dollar, euro dollar, and it might be a case here that actually, we are getting synced a bit more with the euro dollar now, i.e. The euro becomes more of a safe haven choice, which sounds reasonable and is reasonable around this environment. So yeah, in either case, guys, this is the only one that I can come up with at the moment. I will be expecting this is a wave 3. Yeah, I will be expecting the 4 to continue, and then 5 to complete, ABC, and then another 5 relate to the downside, most probably, right? It might be a case of this is ABC, we're finished, we're gonna start moving higher up, look for the break of 1833 to confirm that. Okay, so I think that's gonna be all for now, guys. Thank you for watching. In case you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment on our YouTube section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Take care, trade safe, and we'll speak again tomorrow.